But to directly answer the question, I don't think you can fully blame just fast food chains and say those are the problems. Because if we get rid of them, do our foods not have plastics and herbicides and pesticides and all types of hormones injections? And so, do they not? No, they still have those things.
Welcome to the Good Life.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Good Life Visual Audio Podcast. I'm your host, one of them, C. Muzan. I got Coach Kabi in the building. Say what's up, Coach.
What up, though? We are your brothers behind the mic, your uncles, something. Listen, I'm going to mess it up. We'll try again next week.
Just wait till the end of the show. Like, stick around. Everyone listening, stick around because Kabi is going to make that happen at the end of the show. Okay, so
that's right.
He's going to get it going. But we're glad to be back. How's your week, man?
Week has been solid. A lot of work, kind of getting back into the flow of things. But the thing that's interesting is I'm getting back in the flow, but I'm traveling again. Crazy month for me. I'll be in Canada. I'll be in New York. I'll be in Indianapolis. I'll be in a couple places this June. So pretty excited for that. Get to miss out on June gloom out here in LA. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, things are well. Staying busy. Family's healthy. Business is good. Things are rocking and rolling. So life is good. Greetings to you too, Karen. Good to have you.
Hello. Greetings.
What's up, whoever that is? It might be Nia again. I'm not sure, but it comes up Facebook user.
Hello, greetings.
Good to have you guys on here. As always, we're always appreciative of all of you that continue to tune in here to the Good Life. Whether you are looking to improve your health, whether you're looking to improve your wealth, whether you're just looking for some insights or some tips or some things to add into your daily routine, we're here to be able to do that. Feel free to leave us a comment, drop something in the chat. You hear something that you like, let us know. If you have not yet joined our Facebook group, you see it there on the bottom. Go ahead and jump into our Facebook group. That's where Kabi and I are giving you more access. We're doing a workshop every single month. We're diving in and really giving you all of the tools and the resources you need to, again, design the life you don't need a break from when it comes to your finances and your health. So we appreciate all you guys tuning in. What's good in Detroit? Nothing's good in Detroit.
Oh, my goodness. Come on. First of all, Detroit Pistons will be heading to the NBA Finals next year.
So we got the Lions and the Pistons, huh?
Let me tell you why. Because they signed one of the greatest contracts in NBA history. The brilliant coach, the communicator, the relationship builder, the X's and O's prince, right? Monty Williams is coming to Detroit to go ahead and coach up and mentor these young men that are ready to roll, man. And I feel pretty good. I don't know about you, but I feel pretty good about Detroit's chances of going to the NBA Finals next year.
Listen,
you heard it here first.
Yeah, I guess you heard it here first, but that's not going to be much of anything because that's clearly not going to happen, but it's okay.
Well, you know what? Since you are Nostradamus over here, what is your 2023 NBA Finals pick now that we have the Miami Heat and the Denver Chicken McNuggets there for you?
So this year, Denver Nuggets, Miami Heat. I got the Heat in 6.
Woo!
I got the Heat in 6. Off camera shot. Shout out to Kyle Lowry, right? Philly born and raised.
Shout out Kyle. Oh, man.
Bonafide champion. No bad blood over here.
No disrespect, but I've always called him the Pillsbury Doughboy.
He kind of looks it a little bit. No disrespect. No disrespect.
He one of those. He got what they call it. He got stones in his back pocket.
Listen, but he's got a ring, right? He's got a ring. So at the end of the day,
Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, he had something to do with that. He had something to do with that. But either way, Heat in 6. What do you got?
I'm pulling for the Heat in 6, but I got the Denver Nuggets in 6.
Ooh, well, I guess we just got to see. Stay tuned.
Denver Nuggets in 7.
Oh,
just got a telepathic update.
There we go.
Yes.
A download.
Yes.
Download.
A download.
Denver Nuggets in 7 says could be Miami Heat in 6. That's my prediction, and it's going to happen that way. So we're not putting any wager on it, but have a good feeling about it. Maybe we go down to Miami and celebrate. What do you say?
Oh, yes. Yes. Como estas?
It's a good place. It's a good place.
I've never been.
You never been to Miami. The 305, Dade County. Nothing.
Never been. The only place in Florida I've been to is Fort Lauderdale, I believe.
Okay, well, it's not too far from Miami. It's only 30 minutes ish.
Yeah,
right.
If you were in Miami, you got any recommendations? If you'd like to host the Good Life, perhaps you got a cafe that we could set up at. Let us know. We'll make a trip down there. We'll bring in our floral print and a white cabana hats.
That's right.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't even know either, but it's
right.
Okay. Get us a moped and a Lambo, and then we'll be good. We'll host the Good Life Live at your Miami cafe. Anyways,
that's it.
Let's dive in. This part of the show we always call
2x2.
Today's topic that we're talking about for our 2x2. Here's the headline. It says former Department of Education official Eric Goldstein is on trial for allegedly accepting bribes, such as money and gifts and vacations, from Soma Foods, a meat supplier, to overlook the poor quality of food served in New York City public schools. Plastic, bones, and metal were all found in chicken tenders, leading to complaints and even some choking incidents. Coach,
wow.
What is happening?
Wow. I mean, this is first and foremost a little scary, right? First and foremost, like plastics, bones, and metals in your chicken tenders. Not the chicken tenders.
Not the tenders.
That's the kid's favorite, right? It's almost like they're trying to get them. Here you go, kids. Eat the chicken tenders, right? No, that's pretty scary, honestly. I will say this. I've always had kind of like my as I get older, unfortunately, my fear of like eating out and having weird things in my food decreases because I do it more and more. However, it's something that's always kind of bothered me, and that my mom, one of the best things my mom did growing up for us, and I know it was a labor of love, was cook every night. So every night, there was always something in the fridge. There was always something on the stove. There was always something there. So we didn't really eat out a ton. And until some of my friends in the restaurant industry put me on, I didn't realize some of the disturbing practices and things that were going on. But am I shocked? No, I'm not. I'm not shocked about the quality of the food. I'm not shocked about the corruption, right? The bribery and whatnot. I'm not shocked that if we let corporations grow our food, that this is what's going to happen. If we let corporations cook our food, that this is what's going to happen. If we let corporations serve our food to our kids in places where they should be safe and receiving the best, this will happen. So what I pull from this, if you can, as much as possible, try to control the quality of your food from farm to plate.
Yeah,
that is it.
Yeah, that's important. Who's protecting the babies out here, right? Who's protecting the kids? This guy was supposed to oversee the food that comes into these public schools, and he's out here taking vacations and money bribes and being like, I'm going to turn a blind eye so these kids, right, are eating whatever. Who's protecting the kids? That's really the question. That's the first place my mind goes. Like, who's responsible for protecting these kids? I saw It might have been a TikTok, it might have been something else where they said in Japan, right? It's like the number one priority, like the highest priority is protecting children. So like everyone in society knows that that's like top of mind. So there's a lot of kids in Japan that are younger but are out doing things by themselves. You'll see I think it said on this video, right? There's kids that couldn't be over, probably under the age of 10, right? They can't be more than 10, but they're riding the subway by themselves and, right, they're walking to school by themselves. They have some system where, like, you put a handkerchief or something around their neck, and that says that that child may need assistance across the street, or, right, like for somebody else to kind of look out after them, yet they will be out by themselves. They just have a marking because society is taking care of the children. This is disturbing, not just because, right, it's, you know, a school, but it's disturbing because it's happening to the children, right? Somebody's overlooking the fact that basically these kids are being poisoned, potentially choking, having things in the food. I don't know, it's serious issue. It's very disturbing. Just follow the money, though. The things people do for money.
That's it.
People do for money.
That's it. And I think the show, I mean, I don't know if this is the show you're referring to, but there's a Netflix show called Old Enough, where the kids, it's like the little kids, like, all, you know, running errands for mom and crossing the street by themselves and all this different type of stuff. That's a level of community, you know, I believe, at least based on what I have experienced and seen in the United States as I've been here. Oh, I don't know, some old decade or so here, right? is dead. It's not necessary. It's not, or it has evolved into something completely unrecognizable. And I think it would serve us to bring it back. Maybe we can't do it on a large scale, but we certainly can try to do it on a local scale.
Yeah, I think we should. Community is important. Protecting the kids is important. Follow the money, guys. Follow the money. Let's not get overtaken by greed in our system, greed in our society, that we are now neglecting the most precious, most vulnerable parts of our society, aka our children. So yeah, it's tough. That's tough. This comment right along the lines of what we're saying, OMG, like, how far we went into the abyss. We allow 10-year-olds to rely on their limited experience to keep themselves safe. Yeah, partly, right? Partly in other countries, it's almost normal. What's up, Aaron? Oh, that's Aaron. Oh, what's up, Aaron? I don't know why it's popping up. Facebook user.
Yeah,
yes,
because he is a Facebook user.
That's why. Good friend Aaron on the
yes,
Facebook user side.
yes. Aaron, you still got to grab your box, man. We'll talk about that
offline. Let's dive in. Episode 122. We're on episode 100. It's a big deal. Episode 122. Yeah. The topic and the title for today, or, you know, what we were diving into, we're talking along the same lines of food and our modern food environment. We've been having these conversations a bunch because, again, we want you to be aware. Remember, here on The Good Life, it's about awareness. How much are you aware? And so we're going to dive in and talk a little bit about these fast food chains, right? And kind of what's happening out there. Should these fast food chains, McDonald's, Burger King, I don't know, any of the other ones, Wendy's, KFC, like, should they be held accountable for the rise in obesity, for our health problems, for the issues that we have in our society? Because they are a large culprit of it, right? Like, they are one of the demographic of the corporate population that is damaging the health of society, I would say. I don't know if you would agree with that, but what are your thoughts on these fast food chains? And tell me where you kind of want to start this conversation, Coach.
Well, according to the CDC report, almost 45% of Americans between 20 and 39, which is very relevant to us, and above consume fast food on a daily basis. Now, when we were kind of getting ready for this episode, and I think this is the place to start, is what are we calling fast food? That's the question that came up for me
Mhm.
because there's a lot of assumptions that we're making here. We're assuming that we all agree on what fast food is, right? Number one.
Sure.
Number two, we're assuming that what we agree fast food is directly linked to a lot of the health issues that we see. And three, that it's predominantly responsible for the health issues that we see. I think we kind of have to examine those assumptions because working off of assumptions alone can often lead us to ask the wrong questions.
Mhm.
So let's start there in that do we consider, and I'll toss this back to you, man, because this is not like an expertise thing. This is how we view the world piece. Do we consider fast food like is it a particular time? Like is it literally fast food? What
Mhm.
about and you spoke you can speak to this bro, is what about um places like Chipotle,
Mhm.
right? Right,
Mhm.
QSRs.
Mhm.
Um, what about places that maybe it's not? They focus a little bit more on better ingredients, right? Man, that slogan got me.
Better
Better
ingredients, better
pizza.
pizza.
Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, this is literally how this is
Damn
what
you.
we're talking about. I'm saying like 20 slogans just on the show alone here today. But what are we calling fast food? Okay,
Yeah.
let's look at every food that's around us. Are they the ones that are predominantly responsible for the health issues we're talking about? And if not, who else is responsible for it? Right.
Mm.
Let me toss this over to you before we even go down the route of saying, are we blaming fast food?
Yeah, so I think it's a great place to start, and let's just start with the definition. So, with a culinary background, I don't even know if this is the technical definition, but I would look at fast food, specifically fast food, as think of any place that has a drive-through. Think of some place that you can categorize that you can either walk in uh, or go through a drive-through. You're going to get something in a bag. It's going to come out relatively quick, right? 5 minutes or less, but it's not getting made specifically for you, right? It's kind of mass produced, so to speak. So think of your McDonald's, Burger King's, Wendy's, KFC's, chicken, right? I don't know any of them. I don't eat at a ton. Arby's, right? Those things I think would classify as fast food. You think you can just pull in, you can order a number off of a menu type of deal, and then you can keep it moving, right? The step up right above the fast food is QSRs, quick service restaurants. And this is what I believe a lot of our society has gotten uh, more accustomed to is the QSR side of things. And that's because it feels like it's a little bit better than fast food, right? So you're talking your Chipotle's, your Qdobas, your Subways, your if any of you go to any of those pizza type chains like Blaze Pizza or something like that, some place where you can basically walk in, they make something for you specific to order. That's a quick service restaurant. Chipotle has it on a line. Most Subway has it on a line, but some of these things have to go in the oven. Some of them, right, have to be prepared differently. You can mix and match. That's a quick service restaurant. I wouldn't classify that as fast food. I wouldn't classify that as fast food. I would say fast food keeps it on the level of you're driving through, you're picking up something quick. It's your McDonald's, KFC, Burger King, Wendy's, all that type of stuff. So that's how I would classify it.
I think that's super helpful here because even as I was perusing through the interwebs, finding an uh, 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 definition that we could work with, I realized that this might be one of our problems in that we don't have a set definition. So we're
Sure.
going to work off of your definition that you gave because I think that actually helps tremendously. Right?
Sure.
It's a commercially produced, I would say, commercially produced food for resale with a focus on like the
Right.
speed at which the food is produced, which means that it's not going to be made specifically for you. It might not be the freshest in the sense of like it's not being preserved for an extended period of time. It's not being sent, but it might still be sent from headquarters. right, in frozen bags and whatnots to be reheated in places, like Chipotle, for example, or even maybe a place like a Jersey Mike's,
Right.
right?
Right.
I, I think so. In moving the conversation along, I think part of the problem is the fact that we have to sit here and define the different categories of fast food or fat food is part of the problem. It's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. And I think that's what leads us to ask questions like, should fast food chains be held accountable for rising rates of obesity? Well, obviously, they're like any answer, right? It's part of the problem. Is it the entire problem? I would venture to say no, because the obvious links that we've made is that foods like McDonald's, etc., like the ones you can easily name, are very clear that they may not be the best, right? Well, they're definitely not. I
Clearly
mean,
not.
stories about how the meat has been tested, the way it's being preserved, etc. But that stuff to me speaks more to once again the process. Can you really have fast food, right, and not run into those issues? I'm not sure you can.
I don't think you.
Right?
I don't think you can.
Right? I'm not sure. So it's one of those things where it's like we're coming up with solutions to quote unquote modern problems, but our solutions introduce new problems, right? In an attempt to try to make things faster, in an attempt to try to make things more convenient, in an attempt, it also produces some of its downfalls. I'm not saying that's all bad, right? But we can't necessarily, and also what you will say to this, we can't necessarily say, and this was where I would say no to the question. We can't necessarily say it's just fast food,
Right.
because even when we're looking at vegetables, like fresh vegetables, there are issues there. Herbicides and pesticides and things that have been sprayed onto our food. Glyphosate, right? For an example, right? Things that are being, or I think that's a weed killer, right? Things that's being spread to, again, help us produce more food, bigger crops, more volume, faster commercially. So again, when we get to the second, third level of thinking, we see that, oh, well, it's like, once again, letting corporations cook for us because we want more, we want bigger, we want better, we want to surpass what nature can produce.
Right.
And we start to run into issues because to do that, we have to spray the and I remember seeing some videos of farming processes, and me being completely oblivious to how this stuff works, realizing these farmers run into a lot of issues. Like, these things that aren't good for our body are very helpful to their process of growing the food at the rate at which we want to grow them and at the size and the volume in which we want to grow them. So it's almost, we're caught in a rock and a hard place. But to directly answer the question, I don't think you can fully blame just fast food chains and say those are the problems. Because if we get rid of them, do our foods not have plastics and herbicides and pesticides and all types of hormones, injections, and do they not? No, they still have those things.
Yeah,
those things are still there.
Maybe maybe at a slower rate, right? So I agree. I agree. First and foremost, right? Like, I don't think we can blame primarily the fast food chains. We're not going to hold them fully accountable to say, like, oh, you're the reason why we have an obesity problem, or almost 50%, more than 50% of Americans are eating this on a daily basis, right? Like, we're not going to say that, like, you are the reason for it. But to that last point of, like, well, if we took them all away, what would happen to our food environment, our modern food environment, to farming, to those things? Because we have these corporate restaurants and things that they need more. So a lot of times I believe if you take this stuff away, it would slow down the amount of farmers that feel the need to put hormones in their thing, or right, us, you know, mutating corn kernels or whatever, right, to get
Yeah.
more of it. Like that would slow down because a McDonald's corporation doesn't have to get 37 million pounds of something in order to supply all their stores, right? It because this fast food era has mass produced, like you said, a lot of this stuff. That's what also led to the farmers needing to keep up, the chickens needing to be bigger, the beef needing to be produced faster. Like it's because this entity, these corporate restaurants have really kind of set the pace, so to speak, of like, hey, people need this, so we got to make it faster. If they went away, maybe we could slow life down a bit. Maybe it would be okay for a farm to not be, you know, paid for by these corporations just to pump out as much as they possibly can. Maybe we can go back to some of these slower, you know, being more meticulous and taking more care in the food that we are producing. But I understand also if those go away, another opportunity would pop up for another company or corporation to come in and do something similar. So,
Yeah, it's one of those situations where, if we change one kernel or one piece of the past, what else are we opening up to?
right.
And also, I mean, quite frankly, it's Pandora's box. Like,
Mm,
we could do thought experiments as to, what if, but we're down this path. All right.
right.
And maybe towards the end of the show, we'll talk about, well, what do we do knowing that this is the case? Because
Mhm.
again, coming back, do we blame fast food chains? The answer is clearly no, because they are part of. They get a percentage of the blame, but
Right.
so does the way in which we even package food to put it on the shelves. Well, that's not fast food,
Right.
right? But certain canning processes, certain things we do to bread to make it last on the shelves, right?
Mhm.
The things we do to, the creation of things like cereal and whatnot. We talked about even fruits, right? The wax that's put on apples, etc. Utilizing, depleting this, even going further back, depleting the soils, etc. So it's almost as if, we're in a situation now as consumers where it's not good enough to just point the finger and realize what is happening, but we also have to come up with a way of combating it, because otherwise we're going to be left holding the bag, because we're not going to go backwards and sue uh, uh, let's see, the green giant or whatever, right? they
Right.
they they produce all the vegetables and whatnot. But we got to stop letting corporations grow our food. We got
Yeah.
to stop letting corporations um, cook our food, and stop letting corporations feed us our food to the best of our ability. I
But
I
it's
know
so
not as possible.
convenient. It's so convenient. I can't get away from, like, I can go pick this up. You don't have a family of, I'm mimicking someone in the comments right now. You don't have a family of four, and you work 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day. Like I need my kids, when I pick them up, they're hungry. I need to go to McDonald's. It's the fastest thing. It's cheap, it helps my wallet, and I get them into their car seat faster, and they can watch their iPad a little bit quicker, and I get to, right, have a good night. So I need that fast food option. What do you say to that?
I say, well, it starts with mentality, right? If that's where we start, then we have a pretty long way to go. But I think it's fair. I completely understand that. I don't have kids, so I can't speak to that. But I've seen, oldest of five. I've seen my mom go through this, where it's like, all right, how do you feed five kids on this budget
Yeah.
very quickly? And that's, unfortunately, that is a reality,
Yeah,
right?
and I think that's the point, right? Like I think that's the point why we can't put all of the blame on the fast food restaurant, right? Like at the end of the day, people got circumstances. People, right, don't make all the money they want to. They have crazy lives, busy schedule, blah, blah, blah. The way that our society is set up. We've talked about this before, right? Your job is 20 miles in that direction. Your kid's school is 15 miles in that direction. Now all of us, and your home is in the middle, and you're going back and forth. And the way our lives are set up, it's making it difficult to even, right, cook better meals or spend more time eating, or right, like kind of being more aware of what we're consuming. And these fast food companies, these big chains, they just know their market. That's all, right? They understand who they're marketing to. They understand their target. Is it the best thing for our body? Clearly not. We all know these things, but there is a market for it, which is what these fast food, chains really target and go after. It's and it's convenient for people. So until we can change our society and how we move about in society, we definitely can't put all the blame on the corporation. We can't put all the blame on the restaurant chain. Yes, they serve a subpar product, sub-quality product that does not help us, but there's plenty of, what was I listening to? I was listening to something, and somebody was justifying, like, they worked for Pepsi or, right, one of those companies, and they were just trying to justify like their product and how they're evolving with like less sugar, and the consumers really want less sugar. So if you haven't noticed, Pepsi has so much less of da 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 da, and it's like, it's still garbage. Like, I get it that you're right. You're trying to like
Polishing
make this,
a turd.
yeah, exactly, polishing a turd, right? I know, I understand you're trying to do that but at the end of the day, like, none of it's good. It's not good for anybody, right? But it serves its purpose in the society that we have. I'm sure we don't have stats on this, but I'm sure consumption of fast food is lower in other countries outside of the United States because their environment is different. Their systems are different. How they maneuver and move throughout the days are different, and might lend itself a bit more to cooking at home, eating with the family, right? Picking something from their farm, those types of things. There's other countries that is prevalent. In the United States, though, our system has been set up so it's more difficult for us to do those things.
Yeah.
But we can't put it all on the fast food establishments, even though a lot of people consume it.
No, we can't. No, we can't. But to throw in a little wrench there as well, some would say, well, you can a little bit, because we just talked about a few episodes ago how, for example, KFC in different parts of the world literally uses different ingredients, right? So, I think there's improvement on multiple fronts. On a large sort of 10,000-foot view, when we look down, we can have better laws in terms of how corporations are handling our food or growing our food or cooking our food. But I also, as consumers, we vote with our dollars, we vote with our pockets. All right. So staying more local, right? Where we aren't having corporations cook for us. We aren't having corporations grow all our foods, et cetera. And we're supporting those who are trying to do it locally so that we can have better options, right? First, we take care of our wealth. We have the money to do that. But then we also vote with the choices that we make and how we distribute our dollars throughout the economy by staying a little bit more local. The thing is, it might initially take a little bit of energy to overcome that inertia, to make these changes in our families. But once we do, actually, the stats show that we end up spending less money, right? Right. And once we get off the addiction train with the fast food, with the things that we know we shouldn't be having anyway.
I think
you weren't having a cappuccino every day until Starbucks came down the road.
That's true,
right? And that you being me.
No, that's so true. I think that what you just said, that stat of understanding that the more that you do start cooking at home and having your own knowing how to source your food, it will lower your food costs. Like, it'll lower how much you spend on food over time. And so that point right there, I think for a lot of people, and maybe people that are listening, that is something that maybe you don't believe is fully true, because we often look at fast food as right cheaper, right? We look at it as like, oh, okay, even though people are complaining, those people that do eat fast food, they're complaining about how the price is going up. Like, I guess Wendy's used to have a 4 for $4 bag or something like that. I watch stuff on social media, so I don't know. But like Wendy's used to have some like 4 for $4 bag where like it was $4 and you would get like, I don't know, a burger and nuggets and fries and a drink or something, right? Like
4 for 4.
4 for $4. It's like a
Yeah.
full on meal. But I know people that were like I lived off of that meal. Like they like lived off of it for $4. And then they give you the contrast of like, what could you get for $4? I could never get right that much for $4 somewhere else. And it's like,
Yeah.
go ahead.
All you're getting is you're being overfed and undernourished,
That's right.
and you may temporarily feel full, but in the end of the day, you're actually starving your body of nutrients. So it's also a little bit of lack of knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
or a belief system that has been corrupted, right, hijacked by marketing, by quote unquote, fake general science, and that is where we can place a lot of blame. But that's why we do this stuff, right? Is the education piece and bringing awareness to what's happening. There's and that's the problem. That's the problem with this approach of like, it's cheaper, it's more convenient, it's right, like that. It's a no-brainer. You're sacrificing your, I wouldn't even say it's that long term. It's not even that long term, but you're sacrificing the immediate or your health in any sort of mid or long term for just the temporary situation. Because with $4, well, I don't know what you're getting for $4, but I actually don't know what you're getting for $4. But can we, if we're just looking at that $4, maybe we can come up with a solution. But can we look at other aspects of your life?
Right.
How are other things doing? Are you spending $4 at McDonald's and $25 in a pack of cigarettes? You know what I mean? So when we do that equation, then things start to flip a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But I'll speak to the people that do have a little bit of money. Like, it's not, they're not super wealthy, but they're not starving either, right? What about those individuals where they're trying to cut back on the food, thinking that they're saving some money? Those individuals, you're actually not. You're better off flipping that, right? Maybe spending $4 in cigarettes and $25 on good fundamental food. Because truthfully, we can get we can spend $4 a meal actually, and get actually, now that I think about it, I can do the math, about $5 a meal, and I can get you basically everything that you need in that meal. It's just a question of like, will you accept what it looks like and what it tastes like?
Right. And again, that goes back to some of the conditioning and things that we're dealing with. I think I saw this somewhere on the interwebs as well, right? There was a guy showing the difference between eating like a huge caloried meal type of thing and and then like the same thing. I don't know. There was a contrast where it was like a bunch of stuff for the same price, or maybe calories, and then a lot less for it, or whatever the case is. And I think just us understanding that, like you said, you put it great, that food is you're getting overfed and undernourished, right? So it might feel like there's a lot there, but think about what you just got, right? It's funny. We had off camera, we had a Chick-fil-A interaction.
Oh yeah.
And
oh man. So I'm out here. I'm caught in the airport. I'm hungry. I'm looking around. I'm trying to rush onto a call here. I stop. I look around left. I have McDonald's, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, some random convenience stores, etc. I'm like, man, what's my best option here? So I grabbed some Chick-fil-A. And
Ooh.
I hop on my call, on the Good Life call here to discuss the show, and these guys out here just start calling me out. Go
Look at
ahead, you
this
take the story
guy.
from there.
I was like, look at this guy. Is that Chick-fil-A? Like we saw him standing in line. And, you can see the Chick-fil-A sign up there. So we're just looking at him like, are you at is Kabi at Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, yeah,
And he's
caught Coach
yeah,
slipping.
right. Caught him slipping. It's one of those.
Hey, but hey, you take a video of that and you say, "Welcome to the modern food environment," because at that, this is the situation we live in, right?
Yeah.
At that, and this is why I think counting calories ultimately really is relying on willpower, and it doesn't work.
Mm.
I was caught in a rock and a hard place. Am I going to not eat for my 5 to 6 hour flight, or was I going to eat Chick-fil-A and avoid the dusty sawdust pretzels that they serve on there with either you get a soft drink like a Pepsi or something, or you get water that you wonder if they just got it from the faucet in the bathroom back there. And you're like, no, I know I heard the seal broke on the water bottle, but that ain't real water, right? That is not it. So those were my options. That's what I was looking at.
That's it.
And
you went with
most of the
Chick-fil-A.
time, and I went with Chick-fil-A. Most of the time, I'll look for a place. I grab like, all right, is there a protein shake anywhere around here? Couldn't even find that. Right? Couldn't even find that. But this really is the modern food environment. This is what it is. We don't. I growing up, as a young kid before moving to the U.S., you could literally. I never had money when I was out with my friends buying food because we could find food. You could either find a tree, literally find a tree, or somebody who's selling food on the side of the road will give you some fruits, or you'll go. It was just like everywhere, abundant. Right? Really wouldn't be that difficult for governments, etc., to implement something of that nature. But what we're rather implementing is we don't want to mess in our cities and whatnot. We want these sterile looking cities that only have fake vegetation that shouldn't be growing there, and everybody, and then homeless people on the streets going hungry, even though we could be growing fruit trees.
Right.
So I'll stop it right there.
That's okay, but they don't. We don't.
Nope.
To that point of your Chick-fil-A experience, something that you said that goes to that point of overfed, undernourished.
Yeah.
Is a comment he made right towards the end of eating it. I guess could be at like chicken nuggets. He had like fries and like a lemonade or something like that.
Oh God.
And so he said these chicken nuggets is just eating flour.
Yes.
These fries taste like I'm just eating oil.
Oh yes.
And this lemonade tastes like I'm just drinking sugar.
That's
right.
it.
And so for someone that could be that like his palate's trained a bit because that's not what he eats consistently. That's not what he eats all the time. The fact that you could point that out is like, this just tastes like a bunch of friedness, flour. This just tastes like oil, deep fried, right? It doesn't taste like a potato. It doesn't taste like a French fry. I've had a potato before and I've just now had this. This tastes just like oil. And the fact that, right, drinking a lemonade, it's straight sugar. The fact that you could identify those things, again, pointed to your level of awareness of actually what you're consuming. Whereas the average person is like, this is the best chicken I've ever eaten in my life, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's just such a difference.
Yeah.
But that's just because, again, what you've been exposed to, what you've exposed yourself to, what you're used to eating. But it just shows how off most of the population is when it comes to a lot of that stuff.
It's so true. It's so true. And even myself, if I go on even like a week or 2 weeks, a period of I'm traveling, I'm doing whatnot, and the choices aren't that great, or I choose not to make choices that aren't that great. It's not always like the environment forces me, but it's a lot easier. It's a lot more convenient. The same things everybody goes through. After a week or so, your palate is actually really different, right? So think about how far removed we've been from our food for decades, maybe centuries, right? We're getting further and further and further and further away from source. See, it's really interesting. Like before, I took nutrition courses, before I did all this stuff. My general philosophy on food, this was my entire, and I believe I have an ebook I wrote on this. It was just my entire nutrition strategy was eat food close to the source.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. And what do I mean by source? Eat food close to the sun.
Right.
Eat food close to the earth. And that philosophy is actually true.
Yeah.
It's actually true. Like if we really do that, right? If we eat things from the tree that we're meant to eat, and not all parts of the tree we're meant to eat, obviously. If we eat parts of our animals that we're meant to eat, and we can have that debate later. But what we don't find in nature and what we don't find to eat is deep fried anything. Right? But yet here we are in modern food environment where we're deep frying carbs, we're deep frying animal protein, we're deep frying plants of all types, we're deep frying. And deep frying is just an example of some of the things that we're doing to it. We're spraying it with herbicides. We pack it in plastic, right? We spray, we genetically modify it. We do all of this stuff, and then we say, "Hey, you're being sick because you're eating too much meat." Well, it can't be that simple. It's actually all the stuff that we're doing to all the food that we're eating, whether it's meat, whether it's plant, whether it's whatever it is, right? If you deep fried enough things, you're going to end up with a substance that doesn't have any nutrients. Right. And that's the problem, right? So if we look at, if you're interested in solving this problem in your life, you may not be, and that's totally okay. But if you are,
not for the good life though, like I get it. Most of y'all out there might not, but like if you're watching the show and you're following, like it's not okay. It's not okay. Like
it's not.
It's not.
It's not. And the thing that's almost more offensive about this than anything else is the fact that the information has been hijacked,
right,
and overly complicated. So even those, and I think most people actually want to do well. Right. I think most people actually want to feel good and look good and do the things that they need to do to have the abundant energy that they want to live throughout life. But even then, when you seek out information, right, you don't get the right information. And when you seek out the right sources of food, you find out that, oh, this is yet another trick, right? Do this and you will be fully, oh, okay, this is yet another trick, yet another product. So people are overwhelmed, I find, with trying to make the right decisions in terms of their health. And it really shouldn't be that difficult. And that's probably my entire ruling thesis is, let's go ahead and cut the noise and make this aspect of life. We already got enough stress. We already got so much stuff going on. Let's make it as easy and as simple as possible.
It's huge. It's huge. It's why we do the show. Coach is over here on the health side of things, and that's his thesis. It's my thesis on the money side of things. Let's keep it as simple as possible. Money is really simple. We overcomplicate it. We don't talk about it. The information around money's been hijacked, right? There's a lot of myths. There's a lot of things out there that we have to unlearn and then relearn so that we can actually get to the life that we want to. And that's why we do the shows, because from both of these two important foundational pieces of our lives, our health and our wealth, our money, our finances, how we're maneuvering in life financially. Those two areas are incredibly important to get back to the basics, to the foundations, to have a thesis so that you're not just consuming whatever the government or the corporations want to give
government cheese,
right? Right. Listen, it's getting to that place though, right?
And we know, and the thing that's crazy is like we know a lot of this stuff, mass produced, cheap, whatever. All this food is not good food, right? But when you show people good food, sometimes they even get confused by that. It's like, oh man, I would rather have my government cheese than that delicious green drink. I remember I was having maybe we'll leave off with this story. A friend of mine, I won't say necessarily a friend, somebody that I knew saw me on Instagram drinking green juice, and they're like, I'm getting sick just looking at that. And I'm like, That's a problem.
That's the problem.
What? You're getting sick looking at some fruits and vegetables? What are you talking about? So I get it. No, I don't think there is one particular way of doing things for everybody, every single body. But they're general guiding principles, right? They're general guiding principles. We can't make our food do double back flips, slap smothered, concave, deep fried, salt. We can't do all of this stuff to our food and expect it to be okay when we ingest it and it does everything we want it to do.
I think that thesis that you have of closest to the source is just a good guiding barometer for people. It's just, man, you're not gonna find Kraft mac and cheese in the desert somewhere, you know what I mean, or out in the wilderness, out in the forest somewhere, right? These processed things that we pick up that are convenient, these sodas, like, just get back to the source, things closest to the source. It doesn't matter. Fruit, vegetable, meat, grain, blah blah blah. It grows in the sun. Like, it can do something for your body. It can do something for your body. And I think that's what we have to get back to. Same thing on the money side. Get back to the basics of your finances. Get back to, right, spending less than you make, increasing your discretionary number over time, saving and investing for the long haul, staying out of consumer debt, then eventually leveraging that debt. Basic stuff, real basic stuff. The first part of that, on the money side, spending less than you make, is where people get caught, right? On the health side, I'm sure it's on this convenient side of consumption where you get caught, where it's just like, it was convenient to pick up that Chick-fil-A. It was convenient to do that thing. But if we can get away from that and start becoming aware of what's happening and how we can kind of fix our day-to-day lives or position ourselves in the day-to-day to make these decisions easier for us so that they do benefit us and our family a bit more, I think we're heading in the right direction.
Love it. Love it. If you're in a place where you're looking to switch or to upgrade your nutritional component of your life, I got an offer that I think you want to go ahead and take part of. And you know what? We'll go ahead and just we'll drop it in the group on Facebook. So I'll see you over there.
That's right. Get over there in the Facebook group. Get all that good stuff. Kabir's got some really solid stuff, and has a solid offer for you, all you listeners that want to take advantage of this. So get over there in our Facebook group. Join us.
It's just a toy. It's just a toy hand. Shout out John Moran. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for all the support over the time. 122 episodes. Man, that's crazy. It's hard to even imagine, man. Let's not look down because I'm scared of heights. All right. We'll keep it coming as long as you keep listening. And until next time, go ahead and hug somebody today. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Good Life. We hope you found our discussion helpful and inspiring.
If you enjoy this episode, please take a moment to subscribe and like our channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an episode.
We want to hear from you, our listeners. If you have any feedback or suggestions for future episodes, please leave us a comment down below.
If you're listening to the podcast audio version, we appreciate you just as much. Thank you for tuning into the Good Life Show. And be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss an episode.
We believe that everyone has the potential to live their best life, and we hope our show helps you get that one step closer to achieving your goal.
If you know someone who would benefit from our show, please share it with them, and thank you for your continued support.
So again, that's it for another week's episode here on The Good Life. We'll see you next week for another inspiring conversation.